back to 1963.
Yeah, 1963, my grandfather bought a bungalow at 7920 South Lone. And they actually raised our family in the Ida B. Wells housing project at 39th Street. So they moved out here to 79th Street. It was a big move. Brought a bungalow, and my family still lives in that bungalow to this day. And my grandmother, who's now, she'll be 93 years old in May, is still there. I've got aunts and cousins that still live in the community, and because of my love for this community, when I went away to college in Nashville, Tennessee, I was determined to have my first home be here in Auburn Gresham. And I bought my first property, and I could actually see it from my desk. I don't know if Patrick knew that, and I still own it, and it's my family is still there. It's a 2-flat.
What kindled the love for the community? The family? What else?
Well, you know, it really was my grandfather, my family, and my love for African American people. I mean, that really was it. I was an engineer, and there
are African American people all over.
Right. That's right. Well, I was just going to say, I could have bought anywhere, but I really wanted to stay close to my family. I mean, this, for me, Auburn, and we really didn't even talk about Auburn Gresham. We always talked about 79th Street. I knew that I wanted to be back here, home, near 79th Street, near my grandfather, near the rest of my family. And I wanted to make a difference. And so, just so you know, I was a corporate American engineer working downtown, or initially working in Orland Park, Illinois. And I'd come back home to Auburn Gresham, and I'd get the kids together and, doing lawn landscaping and flowers. But I wasn't, I didn't participate in the block club. I didn't see myself as being extremely civic minded, but I think it was an innate trait in me. I just didn't know about it at the time.
Where'd that come from? Was your grandparents civic minded, or just?
I'd say my mother probably. My mother has been a black nationalist since the '60s, and so I would say, yeah, really from my mother. I went to an all-black college, and historically HCBU, historically black college and university, right? No, I went to Tennessee State University, right, in Nashville. And so when I came back, a lot of people, say, you should get into politics, and but I mean, I was really about just working, and I worked probably way too much. And one of the things that really turned it around for me is in the mid-'80s. No, I'm sorry. In the mid-'90s, there was a young African-American male who we voted into office, who became the alderman of this community. His name is Terry Peterson. And Terry is a few years older than me, but Terry had the charisma and the love for this community, I think, that really lit the fire in me. And Terry had similar interests. I have a lot of interest in architecture and architectural design, and some of the architecture, the bungalows, the two-flats. I'm a mechanical engineer. Yeah. And so once that fire was lit, I mean, it was out of control. And I started volunteering here in the community. And the next thing I knew, I was running this community development corporation right here on 79th, which I could see from my house, and kind of it's just taken off from there. And this passion, it's unbridled, man. I mean, it's there.
How many? Are there enough people down here who share your passion to keep the fire burning?
Well, yeah, this community has been blessed for 30 years to have a priest, Father Flager, who is over St. Sabina, to really be one of those, door knockers, street walkers, and he really has this community at heart, and he's worked for 30 years to change. During the 80s, when, I mean, this, drugs were rampant, gangs were rampant. I mean, there was so much violence. And unfortunately, even Father Mike Flake, my Father Mike, had some negative things that transpired. He lost a son. He had adopted a young man. His son was gunned down. We're all, afflicted. We all were afflicted by this issue of poverty, gangs, liquor, drugs, the selling of loose cigarettes to minors, and I think that's one of the things that has set us apart is Father Pfleger for 30 years, and then the young Alderman Terry Peterson that came into office and kind of catalyzed the redevelopment, and he's since moved out of office and moved on to other things, but his legacy, the current Alderman, Father Mike and his followers, me coming up to the scene, I think was just, I don't think it was, it was kind of a fluke. I was an unknown, because even though I lived right here on May, like I said, I really wasn't, I didn't participate. I'm not Catholic. I used to be Catholic, but baptized Catholic, but I didn't participate in the Saint Sabina initiatives. It was just more of I was just a grassroots kind of person. And we also, back in the 80s, the Nation of Islam invested a lot of money into the 79th Street corridor around Halsted and Emerald and Union. And
I didn't hear you say
the Nation of Islam.
Oh,
Father, Father. That was during the 80s, the early to mid 80s, and they bought most of the commercial buildings over there. They moved their what's the newspaper, the Final Call. And then they built a $3 million banquet hall restaurant there that came out of the gates with a lot of fanfare, but really I think slowed down during the 90s because it was great for the Nation of Islam members, but it really wasn't inclusive for the community at large. And so the residents from the community didn't patronize it. And we are determined to work with Minister Farrakhan and the Nation of Islam to reopen that restaurant, because it is a wonderful edifice right here on 79th Street.